How do most bodybuilders train today? They go into the gym with the notion that their purpose is to see how many sets they can do or how long they can mindlessly endure. And that's wrong, of course, because bodybuilding is not aerobic. A bodybuilding workout is not an endurance contest. In fact, it used to be when I signed up new clients locally down at Venice, California, by the end of the first workout, my new client would look at his watch and he goes, "But God, Mike, that was only 16 minutes. I feel like I can do more." And my stock reply would be, "But sir, if I'm to take your statement at face value, I would have it you'd like me to train you until you can't do anymore and you have to leave the gym in an ambulance." The point I'm underscoring here again, audience, is that your purpose as a bodybuilder is not to go into the gym to either prove or improve your endurance, but merely to stimulate growth with one set to failure. Now, if you don't like the standard of notation 1, and I understand this, yes, I'd rather have $100 than $1 too, but we're not talking about economics here. If you don't like the number 1 in this context, look at it this way. Let's say you're doing a set of 10 reps to failure on the pull-downs. You're doing the positive reps slowly under control, putting maximum stress. You're holding it statically for 2 or 3 seconds, and then lowering for several seconds. Do you see where each rep is actually made up of 3 units? The positive, the static, and the negative. Times 10 reps, you really did 30 units of work. If you don't want to call it one set, say, let's do 30 units of work. That'll make you feel a little better. Again, the point I want to make here, even if one extra set might contribute some slighter growth stimulation, which it won't, you also made a 100% greater inroad into recovery ability, making it that much harder to recover from the workout, let alone build a mountain on top of the muscle. I want to discuss now the third fundamental principle of exercise science, ladies and gentlemen, the one relating to frequency of training. The single major cause of your failure to experience meaningful progress as a volume bodybuilder, or possibly even a high-intensity bodybuilder, relates to overtraining. If you think I'm overstating it, or I mention the issue of overtraining too often in my articles, you're mistaken. Considering that overtraining is the major cause of lack of progress, that most bodybuilders fail to achieve their goals because of it, and that the orthodoxy, along with exercise science, has unconscionably evaded the point, I'm actually understating the importance, the role of overtraining. Bodybuilding is not dying because of drug use, but because Weider and the powers that be continue to blindly promulgate the notion that volume overtraining is the best way to proceed, while rarely informing you that their top champs take outrageous, even nightmarish quantities of drugs to help counteract overtraining. I find it curious that the great majority of bodybuilders, knowing that overtraining means something obviously decidedly negative, never look into the issue seriously. Think about it. The term overtraining is always used in a negative context. In fact, try using it as a positive. Try using the term overtraining as a positive. You can't do it. By definition, overtraining means performing any more exercise in terms of both volume and frequency than is minimally or precisely required to stimulate growth. The majority of bodybuilders today still seem to operate on the notion that their purpose, as I said earlier, is to go into the gym to see how many sets they can do, how much they can take, or how long they can mindlessly endure. And that is wrong because, again, bodybuilding is not aerobic. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, a bodybuilding workout is not an endurance contest. Bear in mind that your actual, literal purpose as a bodybuilder is to go to the gym and intelligently, rationally, logically, knowingly do what nature requires merely to activate the growth mechanism, then get the hell out, go home, rest, and grow. Many bodybuilders today apparently still don't understand that the big picture in bodybuilding is comprised essentially, I emphasize the word essentially, in fact, you might write this down. I'm going to elaborate on this next crucial point for a few minutes, then we're going to go into an actual outline of a real training program. This is the last crucial point. Most bodybuilders today do not understand that the big picture is comprised essentially of two elements of equal value. I emphasize the word equal. By equal value, I mean literally 50-50, not 60-40, not 70-30, but 50-50. The first element, the first 50% of the big picture, obviously, yes, of course, is the actual workout. Who would deny that? But just as important, the other 50%, not one iota less important than the actual workout, is the rest period between sets. And here's why. The workout, you must understand, does not actually produce, the word is produce. The workout does not produce muscular growth. Remember, the workout is merely what? A stimulus. It stimulates what? The body's growth mechanism into motion. It is the body itself that produces the growth, but only if you leave the body undisturbed by further exercise stress during a sufficient rest period. Or you could say it simply, in other words, if you don't rest enough, you don't grow enough, if at all. Now here's the crux of the problem. How does anybody know with reasonable certainty that enough time is elapsing, in fact, between workouts? The answer is to be found in the following. Immediately upon the workout, you don't feel the same as you did before the workout, do you? You're tired, exhausted. There's a deficit. In addition, just don't throw it at me. In addition to the personal experience of feeling fatigued, you have also exhausted, in the technical sense, a considerable portion of your body's resources or recovery ability, which were used to fuel the workout. Recall from earlier that the extent to which you work out or do a number of sets, you make what's called a what? An inroad. A key concept in exercise science. You make an inroad. You dig a hole into your recovery ability. The first thing your body must do after the workout is not grow, but what? Recover. Fill the hole. Overcome the inroad, the deficit. Or as Arthur Jones used to like to say very eloquently, compensate for the exhaustive effects of the workout. Put back what was used up. Put back what was there before the workout. And here's the important point related to that. The process of recovery, overcoming the inroad, filling the hole, is not completed zippo in 5 minutes after the workout. In fact, the completion of the recovery process itself may take several days, a week, or longer, depending upon the individual and his age, existing condition, the training stress, his nutritive equilibrium. It can take the body several days or longer to complete the recovery process before the body even has a chance to start building the mountain on top, which is overcompensating building the muscle. And if you train again before the recovery process is completed, you will short-circuit the growth production process shy of 100 possible units. That's correct. The recovery process alone may take several days to be completed. And here's the proof. Every bodybuilder in here of any experience has had the experience of performing a tremendous leg workout, let's say on a Friday afternoon after work. And then after resting all weekend, you wake up on Monday and you're still generally fatigued. Your legs may feel more or less recovered, but you still experience a sense of generalized or systemic fatigue, you know what I mean.